I'm Sherry Sturman, Director of Crayola Education. We're excited that Candlewood Press is collaborating with Crayola for this read-along, draw-along event to help children enjoy great stories and the illustrations that bring them to life. So grab some drawing supplies and get ready for an interactive story session. Joining me today is author Randi Sonenshine and illustrator Ann Hunter. Randi, tell us what inspired you to write this book and how your research, particularly your observations of octopus Rita at the Georgia Aquarium, helped you tell the science-based, intriguing story.
I watched My Octopus Teacher on the recommendation of my literary agent. I was absolutely captivated by this creature that the filmmaker followed around, especially her uncanny ability to camouflage herself and all of her different defenses, and especially the scene where she had all the shells around her, which you can see in one of Anne's beautiful illustrations. So I watched lots of videos about octopuses. I saw them camouflage in different situations, and then their suckers, they have 200 suckers on each arm, and each one of those can lift up to 35 pounds. By the way, they're not tentacles. I was so blown away by that. They're arms. Each sort of have a mini brain in them, so they can all act independently. And each sucker can sense different things. They can take their arm and taste and feel and smell their food without putting it in their mouths, which wouldn't that be so cool? So when I went to visit with Rita, thanks to the wonderful people at the Georgia Aquarium, I got to see her camouflage in action as she came up in her tank from the bottom to be fed and to interact with me and her aquarist, Zelly Wooten. She turned like this bright, almost like a darkish orange red color. And she was very excited. And not just that, but her texture changed. So to watch that was just fascinating. And then I actually got to feed her. She wasn't frightening at all. And in fact, we had this moment where I felt like we looked each other right in the eye, and it was just the coolest feeling. So getting to interact with her that way just brought that research so much more to life and really helped me to infuse the story with not just the science, but also the emotion, the feeling that I got, and the intelligence that octopuses have, which was just an incredible experience.
That is so cool that you interacted directly with Rita. Thank you for sharing how you learned about octopuses and that personal interaction. Our viewers are eager to hear the story. Please read The Den That Octopus Built.
The Den That Octopus Built, written by me, Randi Sonenshine, and illustrated by Ann Hunter. This is the ledge of sandstone and lime, layered with shells, cemented by time, that shelters the den that octopus built. This is the rubble she siphons and funnels, cleverly clearing the way as she tunnels to widen the den that octopus built. This is the garden that blooms in her yard with blossoms of shells and shiny glass shards in front of the den that octopus built. These are her snaky, sucker-lined limbs, sniffing and probing for prey while she swims, close to the den that octopus built. These are the shells she wears like a sheath, keeping her safe from tiger shark's teeth when she's far from the den that octopus built. There you see all those lovely shells all around her. This is the algae with unblinking eyes, or is it a cephalopod in disguise, swaying near the den that octopus built? This is her capture the crab technique. She pounces, then stabs with her parrot-like beak, then feasts in the den that octopus built. This is the sleek, whiskery seal, seeking a many-armed afternoon meal above the den that octopus built. This is the stream of blinding black ink. She shoots at the seal, then she's gone in a blink. Back to the den that octopus built. This is the stone, a strong, clever door, concealing a crevice close to the shore. The nursery den that octopus built. These are the eggs she nurtures with care, with strokes of her suckers and currents of air, clustered in the den that octopus built. This is her last breath, setting them free, blowing them out to the wide waiting sea, away from the den that octopus built. This is the one little hatchling alive, adrift near the surface. She fights to survive outside of the den that octopus built. This is her down on the seafloor alone, seeking a rock ledge or reef of her own to shelter the den that octopus built. And there she is. She's found her home.
That's beautiful. I love the way you gave us so much information and did it in rhyme with a beautiful pattern. Really musical to hear this story read aloud. And this book is filled with colorful images that help readers understand how the world under the ocean looks. Tell us about your process and the inspiration for figuring out how to draw these ocean creatures.
Well, I actually grew up in South Florida, and my brother was a snorkeler, and he had a fish tank in his room where he had caught a lot of these different creatures. We did not have an octopus, but I spent a lot of time looking at the little characters in each, and I put a lot of those fish in his tank into the book, which was so fun to get to use that long ago information. Also, I had a big shell collection as a kid, so I have that collection here with me, and I got it out to, so those shells that are stuck on the octopus were actually the shells that I had in my collection here. I love to do detail, and I love to do all the little side characters in nature aside from the octopus or whoever the main character is. And I work in colored pencil generally, and it's that scratchy line and all that texture really lent itself to the coral and all those bright different textures underwater in the reef.
Your illustrations help us see the amazing array of animals who live within the seas. Let's focus on one of your illustrations as you help our viewers create their own sea creature sketch.
Today, we're going to do the octopus in her environment. Here's the octopus swimming, and you can kind of see her shape is an oval head. And actually, I have an octopus doll here. Oval head, and then there's the legs. Her legs come out. So we're going to put her in an environment, and in this environment, there's all kinds of shapes. Down in the reef, there's corals and these long snaky things called sea whips, and all kinds of colors. There's small fish, and there's some angel fish here. I'm going to get you started with an octopus. You can layer in things on the page I made for myself as sort of a guide to the basic shapes that we're going to be looking at. We have the octopus shape, the spiral moon shell. Here's an angelfish that's kind of like an arrowhead shape. Your traditional little fish shape, some sea sponges, and then these are the sea whips. The great thing about the coral reef is that there's so many colors, and as doing this book that's nonfiction, I had to do a lot of research about the colors, but you just go wild and do whatever color you want. I started with a piece of green construction paper. You might want to use blue. And then I've got some other colors in that blue-green family, and I've already started a little bit. This is called a woodless colored pencil, and it's just like a stick. You could also use chalk. You know how you can unwrap a crayon using this edge. And we're going to go back and forth. Sometimes I like to make a big figure eight. We're not being careful, and we're going to make this nice watery environment. And these marks help to give you the feeling of the ocean current, that cool blue-green color. And I think I'm going to add a little bit of white to mine. So you can go along with 2 or 3 different colors. You don't want to make it solid so much as you just want to have some of that green or blue construction paper color coming in, and then this nice swirliness. You can use the end if you like a little bit to get a really rich color. All right, now we're going to look and add our leading character, which is the octopus. Let's look at that shape again. It's sort of an oval, and so I'm going to add her here in the middle. And this again is a woodless colored pencil. Here's the oval shape. Actually, I'm going to switch over to a crayon. This is a special kind of crayon that was made to go over construction paper, and it's a little bit brighter and sturdier. When the octopus is swimming, you really can't see. Of course, she has 8 legs, but you can't see them all at once. So we're just going to show 4. And then we're going to give her an eye here. She has a very strange eye. And let's go back. Here's her eye. It's got this pupil that's just a line. I'm going to go in with a colored pencil. I like to put a little bit of black in my drawings because it kind of pops out and it gives it a little definition. So there's her eye. I'm going to use a crayon and the woodless pencil, and I'm going to make a little curly marks all over her. That lets you see the under paper come through. In this book, I used a lot of colored pencil, and I worked on a very, very pale green paper. I like to work on a colored background because it just kind of gets you started a little bit, and so you don't have to have all that glaring white. And I love making marks, all kinds of little marks. I like this. It's kind of like stained glass. So the octopus, she's a master of camouflage. I'm making mine these warm colors, this family of oranges and maybe a little lavender and pink. But the octopus blends into her environment wherever she is. And so you can make her whatever color you like. And often she's many different colors at the same time. I was amazed when I was doing the research for this book how many colors there were in the coral reef. It's really just amazing. There's so much orange and hot pink, purple. And so that's good for now with her. And then we're just going to add right now a couple of plants. I think we're just going to do a sea whip. And then as you go, you can add some more. The sea whips are often an orange or yellow. We're just going to draw it right up over her because she's going to be swimming behind it, going through the forest of coral. Okay, and then we're just going to add some orange right over that. We're just having fun here. We're not being really, really exacting. There we go. The other thing I wanted to do get you started with, if you want to add a little school fish, I think a white crayon would be nice to that on this dark background. And we'll just make some little ovals with a little tail here and call it a school of fish because there's usually a leader and then everybody's falling behind like in a school. And you can keep going with these on and on. So we're going to add some eyes here. Everybody gets an eye. You can make big eyes like that, or you can make little dot eyes. I kind of like the big eye actually. And then you can go in later and, darken things up as you want, adding a little more color to the background. And then here's a page where I was working earlier and I used a piece of blue paper. This is just a demonstration of things that you could add. I put in a spiral moon shell. Here's some different sponges and a little angelfish. And then there's your octopus. So go wild, have fun, get out all your bright colors.
Now that you've seen Anne create an underwater scene, it's your time to draw. Grab some colored pencils, crayons, or markers. Think about the creatures in the ocean and how you could sketch them. Thank you, Randi and Anne, for helping our viewers to understand octopuses and their ocean friends. And thanks to our friends at Candlewick Press for publishing this great book. And a special thanks to all of you who've joined us today.
Bye, everybody. Thank you for coming. I hope that you'll be inspired by this story to write your own creature story.
Thanks so much. Have fun drawing.
Thank you. Bye-bye.